Hello all, I'm here once again with Mothra the Bunny of Data Science, looking at how the poor are represented in media. In the previous video, analyzing the character of Kim Wexler from Better Call Saul, it focused on her background and the way she separated her personal and private life. In this next installment, I'll be using examples from the show to point out how she manages to blend in but not stick out at the same time. Namely, the way she dresses, her apartment, her car, her general appearance. These all play into her character in contrast with the attorneys around her that may not have a similar background. Well, aside from Jimmy anyways. When Kim appears in the first episode, she just looks like part of the group of attorneys and there isn't anything about her that visually stands out at the start. Her suit is not distinctive, she is wearing minimal jewelry, and her hair is in a plain but business-appropriate ponytail with the end curled. Compare this with Howard wearing a tailored suit with high-end accessories. Throughout the first season, Kim's outfit doesn't alter much from this. It isn't until episode 2 of season 2 that we see Kim dressed down in comfy pants and sweatshirt when Jimmy comes over with pies from his latest activity. However, her suit starts to get darker through this season. In episode 5, Kim manages to get an appointment with Mesa Verde to be brought on as a new client. She wears a black suit that is higher end, her hair is styled slightly different, and her makeup is more visible, suggesting she is working hard to appear more professional to escape the cornfield and get back on the partner track. When this doesn't work, she returns to her usual uniform. In episode 6, when she has lunch with Rich Sweikert, he talks about one of his first court cases and how he bought a suit he couldn't afford and put it on 3 credit cards that he is, quote, still paying off to this day, end quote. While that seems to be in character for Rich, Howard, or even Jimmy, this does not seem to be something Kim would do. Based on her overall fashion, car, and apartment, she doesn't appear to be someone that uses credit cards heavily, if at all. According to creditcards.com, in 2020, 87% of white consumers had a credit card compared to 72% of Black Americans and 76% of Hispanics. One reason people of color are less likely to have credit cards could be they tend to have lower credit scores than white Americans, end quote. Part of the reason behind these statistics is that many people are credit invisible and have no credit history. There's a whole slew of reasons poor people often have no credit history that is being addressed in a video I'm currently working on. While she mentions HHM having covered her school and she is paying them back, depending on how the loan was set up, she may or may not have a credit history. In the next episode, when Kim has her interview, she's wearing a darker suit but has the ponytail. She is more serious in her professional growth but is cautious after the Mesa Verde thing at HHM. She decides to work in the same office space as Jimmy and her suits start to be darker colors. Even the blues she wears are darker and more jewel toned instead of muted. When Kim meets with Mesa Verde, she asks Kevin about his suit. It becomes her example that HHM might be a safer choice, but it's not the right choice. Either you fit the jacket or the jacket fits you. Throughout the series, Kim has shown that she is cognizant of how she is viewed professionally, and this is one illustration of that. By episode 10, since she is not at HHM, she is dressed more casually at times, such as wearing jeans but still has blue tones in the ponytail. Compare this to the first time she is in the hospital with Jimmy where she is wearing a suit and heels in the middle of the night. In season 3, Kim's outfits tend to be black or brown with less blue tones. Near the end of episode 2, when Ernest stops by the office, she is wearing a black top and brown skirt, which is different than her usual costume. This carries over into season 4 as well, but her outfits are usually closer to black tones and her ponytail changes slightly, sort of a visualization of keeping her professionalism and finding her own voice within that. In season 3, episode 9, when she goes to see Kevin's friend about tax issues in the oil fields, she wears boots and jeans. Since we see her heavily research things in the series, it wouldn't be a stretch for her to have either researched what the oil fields would look like or that experience when she lived in Nebraska. Yes, there are oil fields in Nebraska and throughout other parts of the Midwest. This was also the smart decision because when her car is stuck, she isn't afraid to walk around in the area to gather wood to put under the tires to get out. After she pushes her car out of the rut, she chases after it to prevent it from crashing into the barrier around the oil rig. To this point in the season, the stress and lack of sleep are more visible in her hair, looking frizzier and slightly less polished, but still very professional. After her accident, she stays mostly in comfortable clothes during recovery and does little to style her hair. When we push ourselves to the brink so much that a major event has to slow us down, it feels strange. However, Kim does appear to be more visibly relaxed after being forced to slow down. In season 4, when Kim does need to dress up for work, it's more relaxed, and not just because of the injury to her arm, but the clothing and colors are less stiff. Her hair is in a clip instead of a ponytail, so it's still professional, but it's not slicked down or kept as rigidly in place. When she is working pro bono cases, she provides a tie for one defendant and helps another with trying to look nice. She's aware that appearance affects outcome in court, even though it isn't fair, and guilt should not be determined by how someone dresses. That bias exists, and Kim knows it. Kim's outfits start having lighter colors in them again. When she goes to work for Schweikert & Coakley, her clothing starts having higher quality and has lighter colors in the mix, some blue tones, but not always. However, when it comes to Babineau's case, she is back to darker colors. Even though Jimmy asked for her help, Kimmy is unhappy with how the DA is handling the case and frustrated at the lack of justice. Her Atticus Finch moment, if you will. When it comes to her office, there's little personal decorations. In fact, they fit in a box. Before being sent to doc review the first time, we see that it's small and cramped, mostly filled with paperwork. When she is in doc review, she has no desk for herself. In episode 7, when Jimmy is showing her the office space he is considering, she tells him, quote, "Looks like success." Jimmy tells her he is willing to give her the bigger corner office. Having been used to her small, cramped offices, this would be a huge difference for her. As she walks through, she notes that there are stainless steel appliances, and even her place doesn't have that. While she may not own high-end things, she is aware of them and the cost. In Season 2, Episode 6, Kim only seems to have the one box of personal items at work, and she doesn't unpack them or set it up. Speaking from experience, when you can't guarantee your job is secure, bringing in personal items or photos feels unnecessary because if you get fired or laid off, you aren't allowed back at your desk, and someone else gathers your items for you, assuming they even do that.
What's it gonna be? Pictures of your kids or those suspenders?
Terry can't throw his family away, but these are nice suspenders.
Are they special in some kind of way?
Damn, Amy, I told you about the leather yoke.
Terry, you're clinging. Munkin smet.
One is that I didn't want to stay at my government job, and I didn't want it to look obvious that I was trying to leave, and I didn't want to give myself any reasons to stay any longer than I needed to. The other is that many people in the office were very nosy and often asked personal questions. If they didn't know anything about me, I felt safer. For Kim, it's possible she'll be sent to doc review again, so why unpack it all? In episode 1 of Season 2, when we see Kim's apartment, nothing in particular stands out. It's clean, organized, looks normal. At the start of Season 1, Kim didn't necessarily stand out, and at the start of Season 2, her apartment is similar. There is nothing new or shiny. In Season 3, Episode 3, Kim appears to be living in the law office, getting up at 5:30 a.m. to go to the gym to shower and get ready for the day. With the higher risk of being a solo practicing lawyer, she's trying to be more frugal with her money. Depending on the cost of utilities at her apartment, or if she is subletting, this is actually a very common way to try and save money. Again, she doesn't complain, and she doesn't seem to use credit cards to get by. At the start of the show, Kim drives a 2000 Mitsubishi Eclipse at the start. It's not fancy or flashy, but it is a durable car. She keeps it cleaned and maintained enough that it's reliable. It's a vehicle to get from point A to point B, and she's heavily focused on work, not her transportation. In Season 3, when she's in the oil fields, after she pushes it out of the rut, she has to chase it down to jump in and hit the brakes. She manages to do it in time without causing any damage. Damage that likely would have been expensive, and if it left her car undrivable, another expense of needing a tow. Not to mention the issue of how she would get out of there if there's no cell signal in that area, and she can't get someone to come help her. Her car is a step up from Jimmy's 1998 Suzuki Esteem, though. For non-public transportation, I'll link that video here. After she works at Schweikert & Coakley, she upgrades to a 2004 Audi A8L. Her income is more stable, and she is working to fit in more at the office in her own way. Before her accident, she was certainly very frugal, and she still is after, but it's not as rigid. You only live once, and splurging once in a while is not the end of the world. Thanks so much for making it this far. Feel free to like, subscribe, or look at Patreon. Ring the bell to know when the next one comes out in case you're interested. There's a couple more videos about Kim's character analysis in the process, and I'm interested in hearing what other viewers think. Until next time.